Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hi, guys. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. I was gonna make this members, but we'll do a members tonight. Um, so because it's first Sunday. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, guys. You guys asked to do a Gail Lewis thing, and I had to get up to speed on this whole thing because there's a lot going on with Miss Gail and Harold and Sabrina in all of everything. Um, so I had to really get caught up. I don't know if you guys want to, like, for those of you who don't know, I guess we could go run through it a little bit quickly, but I mean, this is a very messy divorce. Um it's just a very messy, messy, messy divorce. And so used to just go to Fulton County. I was like, oh God, this is Gwinnett County, duh. And I went over to Gwinnett County and just looked everything up, but it was like, I don't know. I was lost on Fulton County website is down and I couldn't find anything. I couldn't get to it and I realized, oh yeah, it's all on Gwinnett. But Gwinnett, at least maybe my access, because I guess once in Odyssey, you're in Odyssey. So I was able to just log in, but I don't seem to have access to the actual files, but maybe look on my phone because sometimes it acts weird. Um, but anyway, how's everybody doing today? I know we talked about the Dre call yesterday. If you were here, some Dre and Nesto, but you guys have been asking for hot topics. And I do feel like this could take a little minute. Gail, like Gail and her husband. But this is just a very, very messy, messy situation. And maybe that's why it's hitting the internet. And it kind of reminded me of Nesto saying the other day to Dre, like, well, who am I? I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not a ball player, I'm not this and that. This couple right here is just, I guess, just another couple, right? But he's an executive. She's an attractive woman. She seems to be some sort of an Atlanta socialite. She seems to be plugged in with people that we see on reality shows like Dr. Simone. Look at that old picture of Dr. Simone. That might be Dr. Simone before she got her teeth done. I mean, ma'am and Dr. Simone, I guess, are good friends. Do you guys remember Donna Richardson? I guess she was married to not Steve, Tom Joyner. I don't even know if she's still married to Tom Joyner or not, but she was like an OG. She's an OG fitness guru. Um, and there she is with Nene and Greg, and it's like she almost kind of, scrubbed her social media of Harold to a certain degree, but she's definitely plugged into Atlanta. That was Bobby Brown, um, Floyd Mayweather. Sis seems to get around, okay, and all of these things. But yeah, um, there she sis seems to get around, okay? Um anyway, I'm still getting myself up to speed on this, but I guess what and she's an attractive lady, but she's seems like she's been with Harold for, I guess what she's saying, almost 30 years. And it seems as though also um she's the second wife. He's engaged now to Miss Sabrina, um, who seems to be a younger, newer version of what Sir seems to like. So Sir seems to have a type. Okay. I read somewhere she's BFFs with Candy. Um, okay. I mean, yeah. It would fit. I mean, Candy's a little younger than her. Not to say that all your friends need to be in your age group, but I don't know how old Gail is, but They've been married almost 30 years. Candy is like maybe right at middle 40s. Depending on how long she's been with Harold. She's been with Harold for a minute, almost 30 years. He had another wife who he had kids with. Harold is busy, okay? So I was looking on Trellis. Um, so let's see what's going on here. Um, girl, look at Mister. She's over there with Dan. It's about like Nesto's site, okay? Just pictures with everybody. Okay. Okay, sis. All right. So her and Dr. Simone are in more than just one or two pictures. So seems like her and Dr. Simone, um, ma'am also might be tall. Okay. But yet she was reaching out to people to help her pay her American Express bill. I don't know. I'm still trying to get a hold of all of the documents. Um, Ma'am seems to have scrubbed some of her social media clean, of her husband. There's a couple of pictures. There's this one picture to me that's a little shady that she said on the caption, "A friend is someone who knows all about you and still loves you," which is kind of interesting considering what's been said about Harold's shenanigans. But can you guys see this? Okay, no. Okay, hold on a second. Let me, girl. Okay, so right here, here's Harold. All right. So here's Harold. A friend is someone who knows all about you and still loves you. I just felt like that was a little shady, but I could be wrong. Everything is not shade, right? Um, but again, like I stated, she seems to be pretty plugged in. And so if she's BFFs with Candy, I don't know. I did see her in something with Candy, and Candy kind of like talking about how she heard the story and she realized like, oh wow, this is my friend Gail or whatever. Oh, you're glad you caught this live. Good, 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 good. So I've been doing my research and getting a little bit more caught up on this, which of course I heard the story, but I really hadn't dove into it simply because I've been busy, on other stories. But yeah, so she's got, let's see who these, I know one of them is Stacey Abrams. This person looks familiar too, but I can't put my finger on who it is. Let me see. Okay, Spelman sisters, gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, and 50 Shades of Pink founder Dr. Jackie Walters. Um, I don't think that any of the, obviously that's not Dr. Jackie. But yeah, so she's plugged in with Spellman. I did see something about that. She said that Sabrina, her husband's girlfriend, came to a Spellman event, sat in her tent, and I guess she didn't really know who that person was. I guess later to come to find out that that was the mistress. That is the new woman. So okay, she was there supporting Dr. Jackie's event right here, and obviously Stacey Abrams. There is Heavenly and the ladies of marriage. I mean, who knows? Maybe she's trying to make this as messy as possible to maybe do a reality show. I don't know, but her husband doesn't seem to be playing with her. Obviously, she's Delta Sigma Theta. She That's her and her husband, her and some other folk, her and Mr. Jazzy Faye, all them folk. Okay. Are there more? Okay. There's Nene with her boobs out in the last one. And is that a jumpsuit? I don't know. Maybe she's just a socialite, but maybe she wants to be in a reality show. I don't know. Are these her kids? There's Dr. Simone. Do I see Dr. Oh yeah, there's Dr. Simone's husband back there. So they're doing like family Christmas, okay? Um Traveling, enjoying life. But seems as though She did ask, she was sending out some mail exposing her husband. Her husband filed a motion in court. I got to be careful. Let me see. Hopefully there'll be some new stuff posting soon, because it doesn't seem to have like all of the documents posted, the motions. Um, I did see on Chronicle Speak, she does have it, where there was a motion filed on December 23rd regarding her exposing him and reaching out to his business colleagues, chairman, all different people, that he has his business dealings, colleagues, and to really kind of drag him, if you will. I mean, is it the truth? According to her, these are truthful accounts and things that she feels like people need to know. But there was a motion filed in court for her to stop these tactics. But this is like, at the end of the day, this is just a very nasty, dirty divorce. Do you guys remember Dr. Contessa and Dr. Heavenly used to say Dr. Contessa? Okay. So she seems to know all of these people. Oh, look at her with Saucy. Okay. Okay. You guys get the picture what's going on here, okay? I mean, it seems almost like she just stops and takes a picture with everybody. Okay. Okay, girl. Ma'am likes to take pictures. Okay. She put up her TikTok. Okay, there she is with Lotto. Okay. 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 She's just Sis is around town, okay? There she is with the sorority sister. Uh, Girl, I thought that was Miss Netta for a second. Okay. Is that her with Dougie Fresh? Okay. Look at Dougie Fresh in a tux. Okay. Ma'am's just okay. Can we take a picture for my blog? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Um, Let me see what you guys are saying, then we'll go over to TikTok. Okay. I don't know what her age is. I'm assuming she's somewhere in her maybe her 50s, maybe even approaching 60 potentially. Um, just due to the 30-year marriage, all of those things. So she could be somewhere in her late 50s. That's my best guess. She's very attractive, obviously. That's just a guess. And she classifies herself as mother, auntie. Now, this week, there was some talk about her being a side chick to Harold initially. And she basically, thank you to Old Man Johnson's Farm for supporting for over a year. Excuse me, over a month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So her basically account of, was she a side hen? Was she a side chick at the time that they got together? She's 59. Okay, that's about right. She looks amazing. She's a very, look, at the end of the day, we are our age. And at the end of the, like, some people look like this. Ma'am is very pretty and she obviously keeps herself up. She wears beautiful clothing, all of those things. So it's just an age, okay? Your age is not a diss. Your age is a blessing, okay? Because some people didn't make it to that and won't, okay? Um, she said graduation was 88. Graduation from college. Um, Maybe graduate. But let's like, girl, she could have been on a 5, 6 year plan. We don't know how long that took. Um, I heard 59, 56. She's in her late 50s. She's somewhere in the 50 club. Okay. All right. So that's good for her. Dr. Simone Sathams are also Spelman. Okay. So, and we won't talk about any other Spelman alums right now. Girl. The girls that know what I'm talking about. Anyway, okay. So I went over to Trellis and I'm looking at the case. And it is very messy with lots and lots of docket entries. That's what I can say on this. It's very it's like, damn. Um, and maybe because there is money involved, there was cheating involved, there's lots of allegations. Let's just go over to TikTok and listen a little bit. I almost feel like you guys have heard all this already. So, is this Sabrina right here? Hold on a second. Sabrina Hutton with our tennis and softball toiletry bags. Okay. So she has, is this her Pinterest page? Um, So she has some sort of accessory business. Is this what this is? I'm not even going to get into that because I don't know what this is. Sabrina Hutton. Oh, this is Sabrina. Um, look, and this man is a mess. I'm sorry. And look, as quiet as it's kept, Gail might be a mess too. We don't really know. We don't know her like that. But what we do know is that they are definitely involved in a lot of drama. So let's just get into it and see where it all started. Um, are we here? Okay, we're here now. Okay. Let's just see where it all started because ma'am has been posting on her TikTok and uh I guess she is going with mother, auntie, friend. She's got her email address posted. She's got a little elephant, so she wants people to know. Um, and she's telling her story and has millions and millions of views. And she, look, this might be trying to be funny. This might just be one long audition to be on a reality show. Like, that's just what it seems like to me. She's friendly with a lot of people in Atlanta. Nothing wrong with that. She has a very influential circle. Nothing wrong with that. And she wants to get something out of this because clearly, um, why else would you be dragging this situation in such a manner out in public media? Now, you if what they're saying is true in the letters that have gone out, that she wrote to various people, not only asking for money to help her pay her American Express bill, but she has accused him of cheating on her over 60 times with not only males but females, and just a lot, a lot. So let me show you guys this real quick. So I'm over here on Trellis and it gives you a breakdown, but the breakdown kind of stops as far as the documents January 22nd. So I'm going to have to um order the document from Gwinnett County regarding this matter right here. Wait. Uh Um, right here. The motion interference, order to restrain, enjoin, and stop international interference with business relations. Motion. So basically, she wrote like a tell-all letter. It's on Chronicle Speaks, and basically, she dropped all his tea in an email to various different people. We could go over to Chronicle Speaks and listen to a little bit of it. Um, I guess let's do that for a second. But yeah, there were some motions filed on January 23rd right here. Hopefully you guys can see this. Okay. Let me make it bigger. Just a second. But I can't click on those right now. So maybe those documents have not been uploaded to wherever Trellis pulls from. So, order to restrain. I mean, there was an emergency. So this is all in the proceedings of the divorce right now. Hold on, I can't. Okay. Um, So this is like all in the proceedings of the divorce right now, that there was an emergency hearing on the 1st, which was what? Thursday. There was a motion for contempt on Friday. And now there is a court date set for March 12th. I'm sure that a lot of this stuff that is happening right now on TikTok, that has happened in the last couple of days, has had a huge effect on this particular case, obviously, right? Because she started posting this stuff on 124. Okay, let's go back to this over here. See the date on this? 124 right here. You see that? So 123, he's filing in court telling her, basically petitioning to the court, the motion of interference, order to restrain, and then they're setting up the emergency court dates. And basically, when I looked this up, order to restrain, enjoin, and e-stop international. So basically, it is a, let me give you the exact definition. But basically, it's almost, I'm gonna just paraphrase. It's basically a tactic to almost like a smear campaign. And basically, what his lawyers have done was file a motion to stop the smear campaign, stop reaching out to his business associates, stop reaching out to his company, stop reaching out to his, basically, stop trying to harm his public image to harm his business endeavors, basically. That's the way I understood it. But yeah, this is very dirty. And then the next day, here she is on TikTok dropping the video of finding him in the airport. So one day it's the court, he files on her on the 23rd. The next day, ma'am drops her first video, or at least what's featured on her channel as her first video on TikTok, which happens to go viral. But it's like, how does your first drop on TikTok go viral when nobody like, you got 1,800 on Instagram? It was just, you know what I mean? She seems to know a lot of people. Girl, don't get me to lying, but I'm just kind of like, okay, who's, you know, I'm gonna just say, who's lucky enough to drop something on TikTok, everything goes viral? But you know, a good old cheatation, I guess so. So let's go. Are we all here? If you didn't know anything about this, hopefully that helps a little bit. And I guess we'll get more into it because it is kind of like a juicy situation that's kind of right up our alley. But I mean, ma'am, you get him fired. You got no. Yeah, I think he is. I'm not sure what his title is, but he is in leadership and all. And you know what I mean? Like, girl, leadership. There. I hate to say it. Not everyone is having an affair, but it's not. It's not unheard of. Okay, it's not unheard of. But when it starts getting dirty and could harm business or customers, things of that nature. But it seemed as though she was also dropping tea on other people as well. Let's go over here real quick to Chronicle Speaks for just a moment and let's listen to what she was saying. Let me see if she. Okay, hold on a second. Let's do this first. Hold on. Um just a moment. Girl, this is just about it's real. Hopefully you got your pearls on.
So, by the looks of the court docs, Mr. Lewis is being alleged to be a busy sugar daddy that's possibly spent money on not only Sabrina, but it's being alleged that he spent money on a Cassandra, a Myra, and a Fatima as well. Gail and her attorneys are wanting him to produce discovery on everything. And when I say everything, I definitely mean everything. Plastic surgery consultations, treatments, procedures, any cash app, Venmo, Zelle payments, flights, hotels, passport books, pictures, videos, texts, pictures of them together, in group pictures as well, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, any documents of spending time with these women and or their kids and sometimes their grandchildren. The documents that she's requesting are from January 1st, 2019 to present day. So even after they split up, she wants to know what he's doing with these marital funds. Now, according to Gail, she's alleging that Harold has carried on several extramarital affairs since 2013, buying women jewelry, vehicles, trips to Mexico, Bahamas, LA, Denver, and so much more. Between December 2018 and December 2019, she's alleging that he spent over $100,000 in cash apps to various women. Now, Miss Gail did say in one post that when they go low, I go in the gutter.
And I have to apologize to Michelle Obama. Girl, when you said that, when they go low, we go high, that ain't my motto. Because when they go low, I go
She
low.
said that ain't my motto. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. That's not mine either. Okay.
Well, I go gutter.
Period.
I'm going
Okay.
gutter. I'm going to
Yes,
swim down with the rats with your ass.
Okay.
She's done just that, according to Mr. Harold. He filed a motion on January 20th.
Girl. I don't blame her. I really don't. This is the document that I want. I'm gonna have to send Gwinnett County a note, see if I can go ahead and get this.
23rd, 2024. In this motion, he accused her of forwarding inappropriate texts and emails to his business associates.
So you heard that? January 23rd, he accuses her. Okay. January 24th, what does she do? Y'all, what did she do on January 24th? Y'all, she went to TikTok and drug him. Okay. She went ahead and drug. Now, turns out he is the interim president and is he chief operating officer at some company? Okay. I'm sure it's easy enough to find because those are public positions. So I'm quite sure a quick search will tell us exactly what company Mr. Harold works for.
Filed a motion on January.
Okay, so do you see this right here? Let me show you. Let me move our sis eating popcorn. A motion for order to restrain and join. So that's what we saw on Trellis. And basically, what that means is she is basically engaging in somewhat of what I would call a smear campaign to impact his business, his reputation. Basically, sis wants everyone to know. Like she said, you want to go low, I'm going to the gutter. And that's basically what you know what I mean? Look, ma'am wanted everyone to know what Harold was up to. And it seems like sis is doing a good job of doing just that because guess what? We're talking about it. So he filed this the 23rd. On the 24th, ma'am took to TikTok and somehow her posts have all gone viral. Okay. Which, like I said, she has a very influential circle of people. So, girl, we don't know who she knows, but we're just going to go with it. Okay. Because I guarantee you or me drop something, it's not going viral like this has, but okay.
January 23rd, 2024. In this motion, he accused her of forwarding inappropriate texts and emails to his business associates and asked one of the business associates for $5,000 to help her pay her American Express bill. Now, I'm going to read the text, but brace yourself because when I read the email, y'all are going to choke on this tea. Hello, blank. I need a favor before I reach out to blank's wife, blank. I want to know if you can loan me $5,000 to pay my American Express bill. Harold left me with no money and refuses to pay for medical, legal, and household expenses that all go on the credit card. He pays my car note and other bills, but nothing else.
So I'm assuming that this was in the motion potentially. So when he filed the motion, I guess they must have included this as like a exhibit A and things like that. So girl, as soon as I get this paperwork, girl. But obviously Chronicle Speaks is reading it right now, so it is what it is. But yeah, I want to lay my eyes on this.
My jury
personally
asked the Franks for a $1 million loan, which they didn't give him. I don't know what he's done with his money, but I do know much of it was spent on Sabrina, male and female prostitutes, strippers, amongst other things that I can't mention that he used to get for you all. blank and the other guys. I know it's true. I read the text messages. Please try to talk some sense into him. He's trying to pick and choose what he will pay when the court order states that he has to
Uh-oh.
continue to pay everything until it is settled. I hate to even do this, but I'm not going to let him ruin my credit. If you can't
Mm-mm.
make the loan, I understand. I'll reach out to the other corporate associates. Thanks. Now, mind y'all, this was allegedly sent November of last year. So then she sends this email. You told me to do what I had to do, so I followed your advice. Many of you don't know me. I am Harold Lewis's estranged wife, Gail Lewis. While Harold may have been an asset to your business, he has been a detriment to my home and the home of many others. Currently, Harold and I are divorcing due to his deceit, lies, and the many defaults in his character and moral standards. While he temporarily supports our marital home, he has decided to leave me stranded financially. Harold insists on having me removed from my home while he provides homes for his mistress slash fiance. While I can't do anything about this, I'm inclined to inform you about his integrity, character, and low moral standards. Many of you were named as a cover while he pursued his many affairs. Blank, 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 blank board members. Many of
Mm.
you will be deposed in the next few weeks to answer questions in
Uh-oh.
regards to your travel
Y'all
with him
coming
to
to
Aspen,
court.
Colorado, Miami, Florida, Anguilla, and European trip when Harold had a speaking engagement on behalf of blank. Harold has engaged in adulterous affairs with the blank chief of staff, blank blank, as well as other employees of the company. I have evidence and will post and tag your companies via Instagram.
So she really is tagging him to get him fired because look at it this way. A man having an affair, there could be a morals clause in his contract because at a COO president level, there could be a morals clause. So, okay, you have an affair not with an employee, but he has been accused of having an affair with a chief of staff, which is typically, so he's a chief operations officer. So you might have a chief administrative officer. You may have chief of staff who is ma- basically, I wouldn't say it's an executive level assistant. So maybe instead of calling it executive assistant, they're calling it chief of staff. So someone who runs the operation administrative staff in the executive wing of whatever company this is, depending on how large this company might be. um so having an affair with an employee is definitely bad news. There's a difference between having an affair with an employee, a subordinate, versus just some random person outside, where it could be a morals, integrity, contractual issue versus sexual harassment and violation as a in leadership, um and fraternizing, whatever the company policy states about dating and interacting with fellow employees, colleagues, subordinates. um Being in a leadership position, almost everybody in the house is your subordinate, and even if they're not in your stack, there's some dotted line reporting, and this could be problematic to his employment. So someone did say if you drag him and he gets fired, like that's going to affect her check. And I mean, she might not care at this point because if he's not paying anything, what's the difference? But if she's trying to go out guns blazing and using this kind of as an audition to get a reality show or be on a reality show, I think she's doing a good job.
While CEO and president of San Diego based blank, he had an affair with his then blank, blank, blank. I will provide evidence and tag your companies via Instagram.
Ooh.
Harold and his business partner blank of blank, blank, blank.
So it's almost like extortion. I mean, she's basically saying, like, I'm going to out everything and I'm going to tag your companies. That this is bad. So that's why I'm sure, um, filed that motion on her. Let me see what this says. 1730. This was on November 9th, 2023. And then by January 23rd, I guess so almost 2.5 months later, we're looking at him filing the motion, um, to restrain her from further contacting additional people. Many of you don't know me. I am Harold Lewis's estranged wife, Gail. Okay, so Yeah, ma'am is going in and she is on a complete letter writing campaign at this moment.
Engaged in adulterous affairs with the blank chief of staff, blank blank, as well as other employees of the company. I have evidence and will post and tag your companies via Instagram. While CEO and president of San Diego based blank, he had an affair with his then blank blank blank. I will provide evidence and tag your companies via Instagram. Harold and his business partner blank of blank 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 had sex parties with prostitutes and exotic dancers. While blank is single, Harold
While blank is single, I wonder
has
who.
endangered my health by engaging in extramarital affairs with over 60 plus women and transsexuals in a 5-year span. I believe Harold operated his personal and professional life with high morals and standards, but this is proven to be untrue. I thought you should know before I tag your companies on various social media platforms, to include business financial publication and other media outlets, to include photos, text messages, and emails. This may not mean anything to you all professionally, but it means something to your board members, stockholders, and those who support your brand. Kindly, Gail Lewis. Then she sends the following email to Harold on the 10th of November 2023, and the subject line is unethical professional behavior. She says, my attorney advised me to hold off on the text until this is over. She knows I'm distraught over my American Express account. I'll take her advice. After everything is over, I can share everything I have and know with others. She understands my feelings about being left in financial distress and ruining my relationship with American Express, but she asked me to hold off until February. I will do so. But 7 minutes before that email, she sent this email to Harold, and she says, no worries, Morgan just confirmed she has to work now. I've added an attorney to move our case faster. She advised me not to disclose your IRS tax fraud or your personal misconduct with your
damn. I mean, my God.
company's employees to blank your colleagues or the IRS until the divorce is final. This makes sense. It's not unethical or illegal as a private citizen with no ties to you. I can disclose and share the information I have collected on you without any legal repercussions. The info on blank, blank, Sabrina, and everyone else will be shared very publicly. Blank and blank are single, but the sex parties you all had with the prostitutes and strippers will be shared. Please don't say this is a threat or any type of bullying. Is not at all. Even though ethics and standards don't matter to you, they still matter. Then earlier that day,
Girl, this was a drag session, okay?
at 3:52 p.m., she said Morgan called and asked if she and Taylor can come for Thanksgiving. I told her they can join us along with my family that are coming. They are coming on Tuesday or Wednesday. Since it will be over 12 of us, I asked Claudia about a suite for the Hawks game for Wednesday. She can give us one for $3,300 with food and drinks included. Are you willing to help with this? And Harold responded at 6:50 p.m. and said, no, I am not paying for a suite. Thanks.
Gail, what's wrong with you? You just drug him. You just drug him. And then you ask him, can he pay for a suite for your out of town guests? Ma'am. And he's not paying your American Express bill. Gail, girl? Gail, stop playing with Harold. Because that, to me, it looks a little bit like extortion. I'm just saying. It's definitely a little quid pro quo. I'm just a little bit, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit. I'm threatening to drag you. I'm going to drag you. Hey, can you pay for a suite? This, that, and the third. Okay, this is the restraining order that was girl.
That probably got Miss Gail's attorneys telling her, hey, don't submit this information. You shouldn't be doing this, is because Gail and Harold had entered into a mutual restraining order. Now, it mentions about having younger children, which they don't. Their children are actually older. But it says each party is hereby enjoined and restrained from doing or attempting to do or threatening to do any act that injures, maltreats, vilifies, intimidates, molests, or harass the adverse party or the children of the parties. So without going into more detail about this particular document, just that one clause alone, Mr. Lewis and his attorneys felt like she's in violation of this mutual restraining order.
She's got to be, because the TikTok says it all. Considering that she put it up the day after the restraining order was filed. Okay.
because she's contacting people that have absolutely nothing to do with this
Nothing.
particular
Girl,
case.
she done
But wait,
contacted me, you, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Sis is all over the place.
there's more. Before y'all start jumping on Miss Gail's case saying she's doing the most, you have to think about it. This woman has been with this man for over 3 decades. They have 2 children together.
Girl. Y'all, I was trying to get my hands on everything, but my God. Okay, Gail. I don't know what it is with StreamYard and YouTube, but it just doesn't play fair with these two. Anyway, okay, let's pivot because she's just basically going to talk about TikTok at this moment, which that's where we're going to pivot to.
She's held him down even when he's been sick.
Wait, let's see.
She's been awarded this lavish lifestyle, and now having that snatched away from her when she's not the one that did wrong, according to her, he was the one that stepped out. That's enough to make anybody snap. On top of being the stay-at-home,
I'm just wondering how she happened to be in travel at the Delta Sky Lounge the same time they were there.
home wife. These two live in an exclusive gated community. They have held season tickets to the Falcon and the Hawks games, and he leased 2 Rolls Royce for the couple. So back in July of 2023, her Rolls Royce was almost due to be returned. So she asked Harold, hey, since we're going through this divorce and my lease is almost up on my Rolls Royce, can you provide me with another car, even if it's leased, just something comparable to what I already have? And she
Girl,
said,
$365,000. Girl. My God. $365,000 vehicle.
pictures of different cars that she liked. So he was like, yeah, I like 2 of those cars, but let me get in contact with my attorney and see what my attorney says. So according to Gail, her soon-to-be ex-husband, Harold, had full control of all of the marital assets. She had no specific knowledge of various financial accounts held by the parties or the sum of the funds that were held within those accounts. However, they did refinance their mortgage in January of 2022 for a note of $1.3 million, and that note was secured, but she had no idea what was done with the funds.
Girl, did he put that in only his name? I'm at the seat of my, I
Since
can't.
closing, the money went to him. She hasn't seen any of it. However, according to Ms. Gail, the defendant, Mr. Harold, can afford to pay $77,825.83 in rent for Sabrina from September 2021 through December 2021 and January 2022 through November 2022, an average of $5,188.
Man, Sabrina is getting her bills paid, okay? Sabrina is in charge now.
38 cents a month just in her rent payment. However, will not continue to pay the lease on his wife's vehicle. Further, as per a few of the credit card statements attached, defendant can afford luxurious vacations for Sabrina and himself, such as the charges on October 7, 2022 for Delta Airlines for Sabrina. However, he cannot afford a car for his wife. Plaintiff shows that she has now purchased another vehicle and praises court order the defendant to pay the monthly note for the same. Now, Ms. Gail has discovered transfers to various third parties in excess of $107,000 since April of 2022. Further, the defendant has been paying for rent for his girlfriend Sabrina since last year and paid for her vacations, hotel, airfare, restaurants, and the like. The defendant has made purchases by and through a company known as SLM LLC, and when she asked Mr. Harold about it, he said it was an investment. However, according to Ms. Gail, she shows the said charges on her American Express card paid for SLM LLC is in payment for a management company. The SLM LLC management company is a Nevada company doing business in Alpharetta, Georgia. Further, the charges on the plaintiff's card in the name of ClickPay are in fact charges for Sabrina's rent for her home in Smyrna. So the card that belongs to Miss Gail, her American Express card, has been used.
Okay, so that's Sabrina right there. They don't look alike. The only thing they do are both arch their eyebrows, and they are of the light-skinned. They're light-skinned, and I said light-skinned. And they both dyed their brown hair blonde. Okay, Harold obviously has a type, and he don't mind paying. Okay, unbelievable, right? Girl. Alpharetta is lavish. Okay. my God.
to pay Sabrina's rent. And according to Sabrina's rent office, Sabrina is the one using the card. It
Her
clearly
and Sabrina don't look anything alike. They're just similar complexion, maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen them next to each other. And they both have that ashy brown hair that is blonde.
says here the resident who was submitting payments through the credit card charges for blank LTD management company was Sabrina. Y'all have to remember that's Miss Gail's American Express card. She gave her
So the American Express that he won't pay on, he used to pay Sabrina's bill.
husband access to use it, and obviously he gave access to someone else.
You got to be kidding me. You won't pay my bill, but you let her use my card? Sir. What?
The payments made through SLM LLC are at least 66.
Well, I can see why she went to TikTok at that moment, but she's going, you don't want to be in contempt of court in a divorce proceeding because you could get thrown into jail. I mean, if the judge finds that you are out of control just to kind of get you to calm down, that's an extreme circumstance, but that can happen.
$1,413.20 and through blank are at least $11,412.63.
And also just make her life miserable. We're going to get these and break it down. I'm going to order everything on tomorrow, or I'll do it tonight sometime. See how to, because I've never worked with Gwinnett before on getting documents, but we'll see how to get that. But my God, okay. Girl, this is a lot. This is a lot. And it's like, get your calculators out, okay? We gotta do this slow. We gotta do this very slowly to understand what's really going on. But this is, like I said, I got everything mostly on Trellis, and I do have their initial complaint for their divorce, which has been filed over a year ago. This divorce is dragging out.
For a total of $77,825.83 based upon the limited amount of credit card statements that the plaintiff was able to locate. So it could be more money. That's all she got right now as far as the statements, but it could be more. Miss Gail ends up contacting ClickPay, and ClickPay tells her this is to confirm that the payment that was charged on your Amex ending in 3025 was submitted to Investments Concepts Inc. management company. They are associated with blank LTD. Also, it shows that the resident who submitted the payment is under the name you mentioned over the phone, Sabrina. If you need additional help, please contact us by responding to this email or by calling blah blah blah.
Sabrina better watch out. Even if Harold gave her permission, Harold didn't have permission to give her permission. And Harold, I mean, if I was Gail, I would be like, that's an unauthorized charge and I want to press charges to the fullest extent of the law. Sabrina, you've been served. I would sue Sabrina's ass. Sue Sabrina. Or, it's civil. It's civil. Do what you got to do for Sabrina using your card, because Harold wasn't in a position, even though Harold was paying the bill, it's on Gail's credit. So that's a problem. That's a problem. He should never have allowed her to use the card. Harold now pay the card. Yeah, he better pay that card because she's not paying. She's not playing. She's not playing, and she's taking it all to TikTok. So all of this is going to come out in March because they filed an emergency hearing motion, and it seems, and the court date is in March.
And for those of you that are wondering, how did they get caught? Did she really look at the credit card statement and see Sabrina's name? She did. She has proof of the credit card statement right here, and Sabrina's name is all up and down this statement. It has the ticket number, the passenger name, what class they sat in, the carrier.
See, and I know people might say, well, how did this happen you didn't notice? I never look at my card statements because I know what I spend and I only use my cards. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. So I don't really look at my cards at all. But do you imagine all of a sudden you decide to just go ahead and bust open one of your bills one day or log on and look and you see the damn mistress name?
Plane took off. When the plane landed, it has so much information. So, child, if you're trying to cheat,
do you see how
American Express?
Do you see how ma'am? Wait, do you see how ma'am is just staring her dead ass? Like, do you see that? Why? I'm sorry, guys. I have a bad temper. I would have flown across that fucking table. She's sitting there looking at her like, and what? Look at Harold looking shocked as hell. Look at her, just dead ass, like, can I help you? He's my man now. He's mine. You may have had him once, but I got him all the time. Harold is busted, okay? Harold is busted and he
And
can't
see
be
Sabrina's name.
trusted.
She
Oh my
did.
God.
She has proof of the credit card statement right here,
Oh,
and Sabrina's name is all
and
up and
Sabrina is
down
looking
this
at her
statement. It
like,
has
can
the
I help
ticket
you?
number, the passenger name, what class they sat in, the carrier, when the plane took off, when the plane landed.
Girl,
It has so much information.
girl, Harold's like trying to eat his little tapioca pudding. Girl, Harold looks like he just got his medicine. Sis just gave him all his meds. Ma'am is setting up some massages or an appointment for some sort of couture appointment to be fitted with some more things that she's going to pay for on Gail's credit card before it gets cut off. And it looks like a problem. Girl, I would have flown across that table. I would have been like, bitch. Bitch. You got to be kidding. Harold looks shocked.
So, child, if you're trying to cheat,
Girl, Harold looks shook. Harold looks like he's about to meet his maker. Okay? And ma'am is sitting there. See, that's when you know his tapioca. Girl, that's when you know sis is experienced
off,
side
when the
chick
plane landed,
because
it has
girl, you know what? But if you're going to side chick, you better be about your business. Ma'am sat there. Look at ma'am. Forget about Harold at this moment because we see Harold looks like he saw a ghost. Okay, he's looking like on the inside he's saying sweet Jesus. Okay, Sabrina is sitting there like, and can I help you?
so
bitch?
much information.
What? Look at her, girl. She's not moving a muscle, and look at Harold's face. He saw a damn ghost. Sabrina is like, just have it ready. We land in Paris at 6 p.m. Okay, let me handle this real quick.
So, child, if you're trying to cheat,
Girl, she's looking dead in her face like, bitch, try it. Try it. Sabrina is not playing with Gail. I'm sorry. When Gail said, oh, have a nice flight. I'll see you. Da, 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 da. Nah. No, ma'am. Gail must have not really known what to say because that was kind of like, if you're going to come up on people like that, you don't say have a nice flight.
don't use your American Express, Harold. Well, y'all, I have about 40 different documents, over 150 pages that I went through just to get y'all this information. It wasn't easy. However, it was worth it. And don't y'all start coming down on Miss Gail, because I'm telling y'all, I've been through the same thing she's been through. Compared to what I did,
Oh.
She's taking it easy on Mr. Harold and Sabrina, child. She's taking.
Okay, y'all, I dropped the link to this if you want to go check it out. We didn't even we probably dipped in somewhere towards about the 14-minute mark. But there's 14 minutes ahead of that. But let's go over here. So the point is that he filed on January 23rd, right? Can you guys see this? Oh, hold on. This was posted on January 24th. Okay. And this is what she posted. Do we have sound? Okay. All right. Let me. I don't like the way this is. I like it better like this. How you like that? Okay, my noble husband and his mistress caught in ATL court. I'm gonna have to kill the sound because it's copyrighted. So this is what we saw, and this is what girl, and the way she is looking, it's hard to catch it, but ma'am I'm sorry, Sabrina is wicked. I mean, do you see how she is just looking at her? And Harold looks like he done saw a damn ghost, okay? A ghost. Sabrina is smiling at her. Wow. She's giving her, bitch, I got your man. I got him. Girl, we getting ready to fly to Paris. We're flying to Paris. Okay. All right. Next.
Hey y'all. Well, it's story time in regards to that video I posted this morning of my husband and his mistress at the Atlanta airport. So let me just preface this by saying I'm a nice person. I'm a sweet person. I'll do anything for my family and my friends. And I'll help anybody out. Try to stay in my own lane. I try not to bother anyone or do any of that. But when people play in my face and plot and plan and do foul stuff, I'm not so nice anymore. And that's how most of us are. So let me start by saying on October 29th of 2022, my husband was scheduled to come home from a trip from Europe. He told me he had been over there working, and he worked a lot for his, his corporate job. I thought he was working anyway. Told me he had a speaking engagement in Europe. So I wanted to make sure that I had dinner and everything ready for him by the time he got home. So I called the airline. So I knew the flight number.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving, so I couldn't, type it in my computer, because usually if you just type a flight number in, it'll just pop up what time the flight's going to land. So I had to call the airline that day. And when I asked the flight attendant, or not the flight attendant, I'm sorry, but the representative, what time that flight came in, he asked for my husband's name. And I was like, you don't need his name. I was like, just give me the flight information. If I typed it in, I just need the flight information. You don't need his name. So he was adamant about me giving the name. So I gave him the name. He comes back a few minutes later and he says, Mr. Such and Such and Miss what's her name landed 20 minutes ago. So I'm in shock, because I've been married 25, 26 years, and I'm thinking I'm just married to this outstanding, upstanding citizen. So I said, no, just his name. I don't know who that other person is, but just his name. And the guy states again, he was like, Mr. Such and Such and Miss what's her name just landed a few minutes ago, like 20 minutes ago. So I'm sitting in the Kroger parking lot like, what does this mean? I'm in a state of shock, actually. So my head is spinning by this.
But why state of shock though? Because he is a chief operating officer. If he's on a business trip, he could have been traveling with colleagues, he could have been traveling with his team. I would imagine she would know that. But why would it be shocking for him to be traveling with people in a leadership position? So I'm just kind of curious why her first thought wasn't maybe these were people from his team or people from the company, because he is coming back from a business trip and it's not out of the ordinary to fly with colleagues. Okay. Even if they paid for a ticket, because you could have a subordinate who you said, look, I'm just gonna, they're booking the tickets. But typically now with big companies, you're going through corporate travel, everything. But clearly this wasn't a trip that was booked through corporate travel, because corporate travel might not be on your personal credit card, right? So corporate travel is on your corporate card, which she shouldn't have any access to. And also the corporate travel agency is paying for it on like a master credit card for the company to get away from this type of stuff, because this type of stuff has been rampant. Executives and managers, directors flying with people, they don't know what's really going on, and you're booking through the corporate travel system, even if it's attached to your corporate credit card. So I don't know. I'm just curious why her first mind made her think that it was a problem, even though maybe that was her instinct speaking to her. So then what? Then I'm just kind of wondering how this is a surprise.
This time, my
That's just
blood
my
pressure's
first
going
thought.
up, and I'm like, what does this mean? So I'm like, okay. So right after that, my husband calls, and I was trying to hold it in, trying to hold what I was feeling in. So I was like, I'm not going to say anything right now. I'm going to wait till he gets to the house. Because he was like, oh, I missed you. It's been a long week. This is the hardest money I ever earned, but I wish you could have gone with me. And I was like, okay, well, you know, you can tell me about your trip when you get home. So, okay, stand by, y'all, for the rest.
Is this gonna auto scroll?
So, okay, y'all. So when he comes home, I greet him at the door, you know, give him a hug and a kiss and ask him about his trip while he's unpacking. And
Wait, was that? Okay, there we go.
so, okay, y'all. So when he comes home, I greet him at the door, you know, give him a hug and a kiss and ask him about his trip while he's unpacking. And so I'm like, show me some pictures from your trip. And he was like, oh, I didn't take any pictures. You know, I was running around working and we were just so busy and on the go. We were just, you know, just going to and fro. So I was like, oh, okay. So we go to have dinner. I was like, hey, I called the airlines to see what time your flight was getting in. And I said, they told me there was someone else on your itinerary. And I tell him the person's name. And he was like, who was that? And I was like, I
See,
don't know.
that's where he messed up. He could have just been like, that's one of my staff. That was someone from the team from Chicago or whatever. Like, not saying that that's how he should have lied, but at the end of the day, who was that? You know, he was busted at that moment because that's just about the worst lie. That's just about the worst lie he could do. I mean, that person's on your itinerary.
I don't know. You tell me. He was like, oh, I don't know who that is. And he was like, mm-mm. He said, they must have made a mistake. So I was like, well, okay. Like, so I went along with it, but something about it, my spirit just was not feeling right. So I was like, something about this is just not right. So that night when we go to bed, he's sleeping over there, just a snoring. I'm over there tossing and turning because I was like, something about this just does not feel right. So something tells me in the morning when you get up, go check your credit card bills that are on the counter. So the credit card bills are all stacked up out on our kitchen counter, and I don't open them because I don't pay the bill. I mean, it's American Express bill each month. They be high. So I was like, I ain't got none on it. So no need for me to open them. But that was my account and I added him to it years ago. And I just let him open it, you know, open the bill
Because he's been paying her bills.
and pay it.
Uh-oh, my bad.
So, okay, y'all. So when he comes, like, so I went along with it, but something about it, my spirit just was not feeling right. So I was like, something about this is just not right. So that night when we go to bed, he's sleeping over there, just a snoring. I'm over there tossing and turning because I was like, something about this just does not feel right. So something tells me in the morning when you get up, go check your credit card bills that are on the counter. So the credit card bills are all stacked up out on our kitchen counter, and I don't open them because I don't pay the bill. I mean, it's American Express bill each month. They be high. So I was like, I ain't got none on it. So no need for me to open them. But that was my account and I added him to it years ago. And I just let him open it, you know, open the bill and pay it. And there was sometimes I would open it, but most times I would just look at my portion of it and just keep it moving. So that morning when I get up, I go to church.
I do think that this is, look, if she doesn't end up on something, I'd be surprised. For a couple of different reasons. And I guess we'll talk about it when we're done with this, but I would be surprised just because ma'am is not playing with this guy and she needs money and she's gonna seize upon this moment to drag him as much as she possibly can and drain his accounts. And also, and you know, hey, I'm not even denying her that because I mean, Harold seems like a despicable guy. But Sabrina, I would go for her neck. Yeah, I would.
And he tells me that he had to
And not because you always go for the woman and she doesn't need to go for Harold. She's going for Harold. But this woman used my card and it probably was Harold using her card. Look, I'd go for both of them. I'm sorry.
leave because he had to
You
catch
get
up
it.
on work and all that kind of stuff later on in the day. So I was like, okay. So I go to church, and when I come back from church, I get ready to go to the Falcon game. But something was like, check one of those credit card bills before you go. When I opened up that bill, the woman that the airline employee mentioned that was on his itinerary, her name was up and down my credit card bill.
All up on your
Flights
American
here,
Express
flights
bill.
there, flights
Wow.
to Paris, Delta vacations, you know, a country here, an island there. So I'm thinking this was in 1 month. So I'm sitting there like, what?
Where's
in
Harold's credit card?
the world. So by this time, y'all, I'm steaming and I got to go to this Falcon game with my girlfriends and try to act like I'm having a good time. But the whole time, my mind is racing. So I was like, okay. So I come home that night. I stack up all those bills. I got bills for like 8 months worth of bills. Actually, that was October. So 10 months. I pulled from December of 21 to October of 22. And when I tell you, it was very telling. This woman's name was on every one of my bills for each of those months several times. So while I thought he was out working and telling me that I couldn't travel with him because, he didn't want to get distracted. Oh, he had a travel mate, all right. He had one. Stand by for part 3. So, okay, y'all. So I go through all these credit cards.
So she's saying part 3, but part 1 was when she was at the airport. People keep saying she looks like Lisa Ray, and she does have something for Lisa Ray.
Bills, finds this girl's name for months on my credit card bills for the last 10 months specifically. So at that time I try to call his phone, call my husband's phone and text him. No answer, no text back. So I call his boy's house because he told me he was going to his boy's house to watch football. No answer from him. So I texted him and was like, hey, is he with you? No answer back. Then all of a sudden, here come my phone ringing. It's my husband. Like, oh, I ran out to get something to eat. Like, what's up? And I was like, oh, you know what's up. I said, and I started repeating the girl's name. And he was like, why you keep saying their name? And I was like, I kept saying the name. So he was like, well, I don't understand why you keep calling the name. And I was like, oh, yeah. I said, your gig is up. I was like, you nasty motherfucker. I was like, your gig is up. So he was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm on my way home. I was like, bring your ass on home. I was like, come home. Because by this time, I'm furious. So I hang up the phone. I'm just like livid, y'all. I promise you. I think my blood pressure was on like 1,000 that day. So he comes in and he come in like all Billy Bad, like, why you keep mentioning that name? And I was like, you tell me why I keep mentioning that name. So I was like, I'm going to ask you this. I said, I'm going to ask you one time. I said, no, I know the truth. I was like, was such and such on this flight with you? He was like, no, I don't know why you keep mentioning that name. I don't know who that is. I said, I'm going to ask you one more motherfucking time and know that I know the truth. Don't lie to me. And it was like this mask fell off of him. And he sat down in his chair and he was like, yeah, she was with me. And I was like, okay. I said, so that's your girlfriend? He was like, yeah. I said, well, how long you been with her? He said a couple of years.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
And I was like, okay. So by this time, I can't hold it together. I mean, I think all I remember doing, I remember crying and I had a really, really bad headache. And all he said to me was, and this was what he says was really kind of like cut me. He was like he was relieved. He was like, at least I ain't got to lie no more. I'm sorry I hurt you, but at least I don't have to lie anymore. So by this time, I'm like, say what now? So I'm screaming, I'm yelling. My son's upstairs. He comes down, goes back up because I was like, everything's fine, everything's fine. But my head is like hurting like really, really bad, guys. So I come back to my bathroom to try to get some medicine. So I was like, let me take my blood pressure. Blood pressure was like 190 over 110 or some crazy shit like that. So I was like, I got to get to a hospital. So stand by. It gets more interesting.
Girl.
So I go through all these credit card bills, find.
But it says part 5. Part 5 I don't see. So this is the next one. Parts.
When he hit me with I don't want a divorce, but I'm going to keep seeing her because I ain't going to let nobody fuck up my money. Let me tell you something. That was definitely the wrong answer and told me everything I needed to know about him, about the marriage, and what I needed to do next. So for the next couple of days, I'm still in a state of confusion.
Harold is not new to this. Harold is
once I found the girl's
Harold
name,
is not playing.
Instagram, good old Instagram. You go look there, you find anything. So I look up her name, I see her, and I'm really like feeling down. I'm like, oh my God, like she's beautiful. He wants him someone younger. Like I ain't all that. So I'm just tearing my ass up. So, my girls called later that day. My best friend called that morning and was checking in on me. And I was trying to hide it from her, but I couldn't. So I'm like in a ball of tears, tell her what's happened. She's in a state of shock.
Look at that big old diamond ring. Okay.
And usually she always got something to say, but she was left speechless. So she calls my other girlfriend. She calls. We all in a state of shock. Everybody's tore to pieces. So that day, after I tell them what happened and everything, everybody, we just call it. We all were shocked. So the next day, I go and meet with them because I see this girl on Instagram, and I'm telling them about it. So they asked me to come out to lunch, have lunch with them, my two girlfriends. So, because they needed to tell me something. So, and I bring it up. I was like, well, I see her pictures on Instagram. And I was like, she's pretty. And they were like, girl, she ain't all that damn pretty. Like, that's filters and plastic surgery and a whole bunch of other shit. Like, girl, it ain't even all that. And they were like, and kind of, it's like, we ain't trying to offend you. Y'all actually kind of favor each other. Like, she may be the younger version of you. So I'm thinking, like, I don't look like her. Like, that girl's, pretty. Like, it's I don't look like that. So in the interim, I was like, well, at least I said they don't have any pictures of themselves up on her Instagram.
Girl,
So then what my
bye.
girlfriends was like, that's why we needed to meet with you, because they were like, there is a picture out there. So by this time, y'all, I'm devastated. So our food tries to come. We have papados. Food comes. I'm so distraught from tears and looking a hot mess. Couldn't really even eat. And we went into how bad off I was. You bad off when you can't do this. We needed to pray over our food. I couldn't even put my hands together to pray. I have never had that to happen. I couldn't even pray. I literally put my
Part
head
5 is
down
at
on
the
the table
top.
while they were saying a prayer and cried. And basically they made me try to eat because I really could not eat anything. So it was just a complete mess. So when I get home, my husband, he was actually gone. I think he was gone, but he claimed he had a trip or something. And then he tells me when he did come home, like, well, I need to talk to you because I think we need a little break. So he was like, you need a break so you can think about some things. And I was like, huh? Like, I need to think about some things. He was like, yeah, you need a break so you can think about some things.
He's a mess. Okay, part 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here's part 5. So somehow it's out of order.
So
Okay.
by this time, my head is banging, and I know I need to go to the hospital. I know something is wrong. So of course, I'm crying. I'm hysterical, trying to put my clothes
Thank
on.
you.
He's trying to touch me and pet me up, like, oh, I'm just so sorry that I made you feel this way. Now, didn't really have any compassion in his voice, any of that kind of stuff. So I was like, don't touch me. So I drive myself to the airport. He was like, I'll drive you. I was like, mm-mm. I said, I'll take my chances. I drive myself to the airport. I get there. Blood pressure is off the charts to the
So I think
point
she meant to say urgent care or hospital, but she said airport.
they're like, ma'am, you're about to have a stroke. You got to calm down. And I really couldn't even talk. So they were like, you got to calm down. So they call my doctor. We get the medicine. They try to get it under control. So I'm there for a couple of hours. So I come home and he's sitting on the couch eating Cheetos,
Not
like, ain't shit
Cheetos.
happened, right?
Not
Then comes in
Cheetos.
like, oh, what they say. And I was like, they said, they got my pressure, kind of down because it went all the way down. They said, go see a doctor in the morning. So that night, I could not sleep. I cried all night long to the point when I got up that morning, I really couldn't even see. My eyes were so swollen. So I'm tore up, right? So I go out later that morning. He's upstairs. I come upstairs because I slept in another bedroom. He's around here like like do like he
Because
having a
he's
good day and shit.
relieved.
Like
He's got
his burdens is
all the
light,
weight off of
not
his
heavy, but his is light.
shoulders.
So
Yeah.
I come up and then he's out in our family room. And I was like, look, I said, I don't know. And I'm still in a state of confusion. So I was like, I don't know what happened last night. And I was like, I don't know what I've done wrong. Because by this time I'm blaming myself. I was like, I know
Yes.
I'm getting
Thank you, sis.
older, but I try to keep myself up. I try to look nice, do whatever I can as a wife. I was like, I've tried my best. So I don't even know what I could have done or what I can do. So I'm taking the blame. And he was like, oh, it's not you. Like, it's not you. So, but I'm like, no, like, it's got to be me. He was like, no, he's like, you're a good wife. You've been a really good wife. So I was like, well, I'll tell you what. I was like, I'm confused here. I say, so what we need to do, I was like, I think we need to sell the house. Let's move away, try to start over. You go to counseling. I go to counseling. We do some counseling. and we start over. So he was kind of like real smug with it, like, well, if that's what you want, like, yeah, we can do that. So I was like, well, what about her? Are you going to stop seeing her? So he paused for like 20 seconds and kind of tilted his head to the side. He was like, I ain't gonna tell you I'm gonna stop seeing her. And I was like, then you want a divorce? He was like, oh, I don't want a divorce. He was like, I ain't gonna let nobody fuck up my money.
Mm-mm.
And I was blown away.
Mm. Okay, and that's where it went to. So that was part 5. We'll just watch part 6 again, just so we could be in order.
Y'all, when he hit me with the, I don't want a divorce, but I'm gonna keep seeing her because I ain't gonna let nobody fuck up my money. Let me tell you something. That was definitely the wrong answer and told me everything I needed to know about him, about the marriage, and what I needed to do next. So for the next couple of days, I'm still in a state of confusion. And I remember going to, once I found the girl's name, I went to Instagram, good old Instagram. You go look there, you find anything. So I look up her name, I see her, and I'm really like feeling down. I'm like, oh my God, like she's beautiful. He wants him someone younger. Like I ain't all that. Da, da, da. So I'm just tearing my ass up. So, my girls called later that day. My best friend called that morning and was checking in on me. And I was trying to hide it from her, but I couldn't. So I'm like in a ball of tears, tell her what's happened. She's in a state of shock. And usually she always got something to say, but she was left speechless. So she calls my other girlfriend. She calls. We all in a state of shock. Everybody's tore to pieces. So that day, after, I tell them what happened and everything, everybody, we just call it, we all were shocked. So the next day I go and meet with them because I see this girl on Instagram and I'm telling them about it. So they asked me to come out to lunch, have lunch with them, my 2 girlfriends. So, because they needed to tell me something. So, and I bring it up. I was like, well, I see her pictures on Instagram. And I was like, she's pretty. And they were like, girl, she ain't all that damn pretty. Like, that's filters and plastic surgery and a whole bunch of other shit. Like, girl, it ain't even all that. And they were like, and kind of, it's like, we ain't trying to offend you. Y'all actually kind of favor each other. Like, she may be the younger version of you. So I'm thinking, like, I don't look like her. Like, that girl's, pretty. Like, I don't look like that. So in the interim, I was like, well, at least I said they don't have any pictures of themselves up on her Instagram. So my girlfriends was like, that's why we needed to meet with you. Because they were like, there is a picture out there. So by this time, y'all, I'm devastated. So our food tries to come. We have Papa Do's. Food comes. I'm so distraught from tears and looking a hot mess. Couldn't really even eat. And we went into how bad off I was. You bad off when you can't do this. We needed to pray over our food. I couldn't even put my hands together to pray. I have never had that to happen. I couldn't even pray. I literally put my head down on the table while they were saying a prayer and cried. And basically they made me try to eat because I really could not eat anything. So it was just a complete mess. So when I get home, my husband, he was actually gone. I think he was gone, but he claimed he had a trip or something. And then he tells me when he did come home, like, well, I need to talk to you because I think we need a little break. So he was like, you need a break so you can think about some things. And I was like, huh? Like, I need to think about some things. He was like, yeah, you need a break so you can think
He really tried to flip it on her. He tried to do the old flip of the script.
about some things.
He tried to pull an old flip of the script to make her like to make it seem like it's her fault.
So yeah, to add insult to injury, he tells me he needs to go away for 3 to 6 months for me
What?
to think about some
I'll
things
be
and to
back in
think some things
December.
over.
Oh
And I was
hell
like,
no.
I need to think some things over. I was like, I don't need to think about anything. He was like, yeah, I need to go away so you can think about some things.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay. And this is a straw that broke the camel's back when he said this. And I knew that this man actually had no love for me and that he had been planning and plotting for a long time. He was like, yeah, and if you find somebody in that 3 to 6 month time frame, I'll understand. Now, who tell their spouse that? If they really love you, they don't want you all sleeping with nobody else. Not if everybody normal, ain't nobody sick or doing anything like that. So I knew then, I was like, I don't have but one other option. Divorce is the only option for me. And I tell you, I prayed about it, asked God about it. And when I tell you he was sending me signs, if you listen, He will send you signs, and he sent me sign after sign after sign, y'all. So I did. I filed for divorce, and each day I've gotten stronger. And I think my husband thought that, I don't know what he thought about me or what kind of person I was, but because he knew how I felt about infidelity, and I always used to tell him, hey, if something ever happens, tell me on the front end, because I'm gonna hurt one way or the other, on the front end, on the back end. Just let me know, but don't play me for no fool. So he guess he thought he got Boo Boo the fool over here.
Not
So
Boo
I
Boo
was
the
like, okay.
Fool.
And from this girl that you saw in the video, yeah, she knew about me. He would have her at restaurants, hotels, games, had other women serving me my drinks. They'd feet under my table speaking to me, and he's sleeping with all these women. That is humiliating, y'all. So you know what? I was like, if you give me shit to taste, I'm gonna let you taste it back. So to the airport video, yeah, I was shocked. I was dismayed because that was my first time seeing them. I knew it eventually that I would see them out somewhere. It's Atlanta, and hey, it's a small town. So it's a big town, but it's a small town too. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try my best to be classy and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes that just don't work, because when you go in a gutter, when people go gutter with you, and I have to apologize to Michelle Obama, girl, when you said that when they go low, we go high. That ain't my motto, because when they go low, I go lower. I go gutter. I'm going gutter. I'm going to swim down with the rats with your ass. So I was like, okay, yeah. So she knew, and she was on Instagram sending all her little subliminal messages and all of that. Like, yeah, okay, I got you, girl. But y'all, when all this is over, I got a little story to tell about her and the rest of his story too. Our story. It's actually our story because it's my story to tell. So I'll share more with you all. But let me tell you something that's a cautionary tale. If you all want to move on, just say you want to move on, y'all. Because if you fuck around, you definitely gonna find out.
Ooh, ooh.
And just like him, my husband got the one and the two.
Stop it.
Be good. Y'all hear from me later. Bye.
See, people think when you get to be a certain age, you're not about that life anymore and you can't read and cuss somebody out the right way. Okay, Gail, I'm
Hey
here for it.
y'all, after I posted that video of my husband and his mistress in the Atlanta airport, and I decided to share my story with you all, when I say that you all have shown an outpouring of love, support, kind words, prayers, just everything. And I just want to say how grateful I am, because that was very hard for me. And it's still hard for me. This is a journey that I wouldn't wish on anyone. This kind of betrayal and the lies and the deception, no one deserves that, and just reading some of you all's stories, it makes me sad to know that so many people are still going through this same thing,
Okay,
and
V.
it's not
Williams.
even about, everybody's going through it. Black, white, it has no color line, and men are going through it too, with women who are doing the same thing. But I'm hoping that this will help someone know that they can share their story and not live in shame, thinking they can't say anything, and to protect the other person. Those days are gone, y'all. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me, and loving on me during this time. So this is a love that I didn't even know I needed, but I needed it, guys. So, and for the ride out crew, y'all crack me up, getting ready to get your Air Force Ones or y'all stumping boots. But y'all, I'm too old for that. And I'll tell
Look
y'all
at them
this, I'm just being
tagging Andy
completely
Cohen
transparent.
right
When I ran
here.
up on them in the airport, I never knew what I would do if I ever saw them together. And I didn't do anything because I'm older now and I can't fight. I really cannot fight. And I didn't want her to whip my ass.
You don't
So
have to fight, you can smack. Oh,
I was like, I'm not doing that. So yeah, we're not going to fight. We're going to fight with our tongues, and fight with the
okay.
legal system. And since I'm still
Embarrass
going through
her.
this
Mm-hmm.
process, according to my, trusted counsel, Rachel St. Fleur and Melanie Fenwick Thompson, I got to start thinking smarter, guys. So I couldn't, go off and do that. So I want to advise you guys too.
She
Like,
wanted to keep it like a lady. Okay. Yes.
sometimes we
You
have to
know.
restrain. We do have to use self-restraint, guys. So I do appreciate you all, and to my super sleuth, when I tell you, y'all are better than the FBI, the CIA, Scooby-Doo, Perry Mason. Y'all are on it. But yeah, we can lean back on some of that now. We'll get it handled, guys. But thank you for your support. And for you all who said I stayed, I did not. I know my worth. And as soon as I got more information after I initially found out on October 29th of 2022, there was so much more that came out between that time and when I filed. But I can't share that with you all right now because it is actually, this story gets crazier and crazier. But can't share that with you all right now, but I will at some point, and I just hope that it helps someone else know that you're not going crazy. You're not alone with the gaslighting and people making you feel like, you are less than. You're not. So, and for me, for those who want to stay, that is your prerogative. I'll support you, but I'm not one of those you, me, and she kind of girls. There's not gonna be no Eve and the Rough Riders on that one. No, it's either you and me. I value the institution of marriage. I made a commitment to God. I made a commitment to him, and he just didn't stand up he didn't stand up on his end. So, it is what it is, guys. But I thank you all so much, and you'll be hearing from me soon. Hope y'all have a good one. Peace. Good morning, y'all. Earlier this morning, I posted a lengthy and
Well, let me just make sure I'm at the right place. Okay. So I do have, I think this is Harold's deposition. I'm going to pull it down and read it and we'll talk about it. So some of the where Chronicle Speaks was talking about the people who were named in the divorce as potential love interests, including Sabrina, and many others. Let me see, Sabrina, Cassandra, Myra, Fatima, and that might be it. I need to read through this, but there were several people noted in this deposition regarding outside relationships. So I need to just read through this before we talk about it. But my God, it's a lot.
Good morning, y'all. Earlier this morning, I posted a lengthy and detailed video stating that today was my 28th wedding anniversary, and I was giving some details about how I met my husband. And I told you all earlier that, we're going through this process right now. I can't share too much of it, but I would share everything once we kind of get through. And I feel the need to address this. I really shouldn't have to, but I want to. So I ain't nobody's victim, and I ain't having nobody's pity party. So my original post was about me seeing him and her for the first time in the airport. I admitted that I was shocked. I was. And the video was only about 7 seconds where I said, have a good flight. I think I said, hey, Harold, have a good flight. And I walked on off, right? And I turned the video off after that. And then I said something like, that's his mistress. He's my husband. I'm the wife. And I went on back to where I was sitting in the Sky Club and say anything else. So I guess she's is saying something about when we got to the gateway to get on the plane. Yeah, I said some things to him, but he's my husband, so I can say whatever I want to say to him. And it's just like kicking any trash can. Hey, y'all, this is my last video.
Wait, I'm sorry, y'all.
Good morning, y'all.
My bad.
Y'all. Earlier this morning. So by this time,
TikTok gets on my nerves, guys.
morning, y'all.
I'm sorry.
Earlier this morning, I posted a lengthy. Good morning, y'all. And I ain't having nobody's pity party. So
Okay.
my original post was about me seeing him and her for the first time in the airport. I admitted that I was shocked. I was. And the video was only about 7 seconds where I said, have a good flight. I think I said, hey, Harold, have a good flight. And I walked on off, right? And I turned the video off after that. And then I said something like, that's his mistress. He's my husband. I'm the wife. And I went on back to
Good morning, Arlene. Good morning to everyone. Happy Sunday, y'all.
So I guess she's is saying something about when we got to the gateway to get on the plane. Yeah, I said some things to him, but he's my husband, so I can say whatever I want to say to him. And it's just like kicking any trash can. You kick it, and the trash may get over on you too. So some of it, she might have caught some of the flack, but that's just par for the course when when you do this kind of stuff. And well, it wasn't too much I could do anyway because I had filed for divorce the year earlier. I filed for divorce in December of 22. So wasn't anything I really could do, guys, but other than doing what I did do. And then I kept it moving. But let me tell you something. Me and this girl are not the same person. When she met my husband, she knew he was married. She actually encouraged him to leave me. She was doing really disrespectful shit. She came to my Spelman Morehouse homecoming and sat under my tent and saw me sitting right there beside him and knew he was married. And we were all having a good time. There was no animosity that day. We were all having a good time. So as far as I'm concerned, she came around my family uninvited. Or actually, he might have invited her, but she knew what the deal was. You know, then she had the nerve to post that clip of Sunshine from Harlem Nights the day that I found out everything. Yeah, because I went on one of her pictures and kind of said a few things. And then she posted that video just kind of trying to taunt me. So I'm like, so you gonna taunt me and gloat after I find out that you've been with my husband? So, you know, I'm like, mm-mm. So, like I said, I don't owe anyone an explanation, but I'm keeping it 100. So I ain't judging him. I ain't judging her. But at the same time, she and I ain't the same. And this is not about her. This is all about him and his lies, his deception, and all of that. So before you all get to start going to judge me and start talking about it's karma and all that, it could be, but it is what it is. So I mean, I got to live with it. You know, I'm gonna be accountable for 100% of all my shit. So, but I'll say before you all start throwing stones and want to judge somebody, you know, you need to hear the whole story. So, you know, every woman he's ever been with has been deceived and lied to. But I'll give you the story about how he and I met and what the situation was. Stand by. Hey, y'all. I'm going to address this part about the start of my relationship with my husband, and I'm going to be done. And you can say what you want to say, do what you want to do. I mean, it is what it is. And that was almost 30 years ago. But when I was introduced to him, I was told he was not married. I wanted to find out later that he was. So I told him then that I did not deal with married men and that I didn't want to do anything to some other woman that I didn't want done to me. And I meant that, and I still hold to that. So of course he gave me the standard, you know, we've been having problems and all that kind of stuff. And whenever I would talk to him, I would tell him he would try to be hitting on me, but I would knock it right down because I wasn't attracted to him. My husband was overweight, morbidly obese, actually. But he was a nice guy. But when I would talk to him, I would encourage him to stay with his wife and kids. And I thought he thought that was the oddest thing, but that's what I would do. I would encourage him because I didn't like him like that. And I was like, you're married, so this ain't going anywhere anyway. So he kept asking me like, you know, like, what if I was divorced? Because she and I having problems and all of that. And I was like, well, if that's the case, you need to get your problem handled. I said, I can't even think about ever even dating you or doing any of that because you're still married. So lo and behold, he tells me that he's going to divorce her. He started his process and that, you know, he wanted me to be his girl and all that kind of stuff. Actually gave me some diamond earrings to let me know. He was like, this is to let you know that I'm super duper serious about this thing. So I was like, well, okay then, because during this whole time, we had no intimate relationship or any of that for like 3 months. Because actually I was calling him Al Bundy. And he didn't even know why I was calling him that. Because he was like, why you always call me Al Bundy? And I was like, because you married with children and I don't mess with Al Bundys or whatever, right? So once he started his divorce proceedings, he asked me would I date him. So I did. So there may be some fault there where I started dating him before his actual divorce was final. But I made sure that he had filed divorce because that's what he told me. So we did take a trip to the Essence Music Festival the first year, and a phone call came in, and I'm assuming that it was his wife, but the way he responded to the call let me know that, basically something was up and that he probably had lied to me. So when we get off the phone, I was like, I thought you filed for divorce. Like, why was that conversation going that way? He didn't really have too much to say. But he was like, well, no, I talked about it, but I was going to file. I'm still doing some reach out. I'm filing when I get back and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, I was furious because I was like, you've lied to me. Like, why would you, tell a lie like that? The only reason I came with you on this trip was because you told me you had filed and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking everything kosher with them and that I didn't have anything to do with that. Because he told me in the beginning, like, no, she and I having issues. And if I file for divorce, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. So I was like, well, okay, then. So like I said, I wasn't attracted to him at first. But he was a really nice guy, really nice guy. He was a professional guy, was president of a company and all that kind of stuff. But I had my own thing. I was working. I was a single mom doing my own little thing. So I didn't really need him for anything. But the only thing that I'll say about that was, yeah, I did start dating him after he filed for divorce. And I think from the time I met him to the time he divorced was like a 10-month span. So those first 3 months, I didn't say anything to him like romantically because I was not attracted to him. And that is for real. If you see the picture of him before, you'll know why, but he was a nice guy. So I'm just saying. But I'll say that, maybe me dating him before the divorce was final was wrong. And I'll take accountability for that, but I can't go back, 30 years now and correct that. I'm just trying to move forward and do what's right. But, Miss Thing is trying to like paint this narrative like, oh, she was doing the same thing. Not the same thing at all, because my whole time I was encouraging him to stay with his people. She did not. I have the text messages between them from the day they met to, all the things that he was telling her, the things she was telling him, and telling him that she didn't have anything and that she left her family with just the clothes on her back,
Oh,
and
okay. I'm
just
sorry,
this little
guys.
sob story for him.
I didn't realize I was on mute. My bad, y'all. My bad. Sorry about that.
So I guess he went with it. But like I said, y'all, this was originally about me posting a video of me seeing them for the first time in the airport. So I ain't judging her. I ain't gonna judge him. Like I said, I'm not, but it ain't like I willfully went out and decided like I'm gonna go and destroy his family. It was nothing like that. So a lot of us were deceived. A whole bunch of us were deceived. So that is what he has done. That's what he continues to do. So, I'm gonna let it be what it is. And like I said, once we get further down the road in this process, I can share some things. I don't know how to share the receipts on here. I thought you could only do videos. So anybody that knows how you can post pictures and all of that of the text messages, I'll show you that I ain't got no lie to tell. And the whole time, I never talked to my husband's former wife. Only conversation we ever had was when she would bring the kids.
Look, but sis, this is 30 years later. The game has changed. Let me make sure I'm flipping screens, make sure y'all can hear me. Okay. Someone said, seems like he runs the same game and y'all both fell for it. The beef is between the women. I agree. It's not between the women, it's for the guy, but this is 30 years. Like it's been 30 years, and I don't know how many years it was between him and number one versus number two, and now number three. But at the end of the day, um, I hear what Gail's saying, and she was doing real good up until we got to these last couple videos because now it's starting to fall apart and make some excuses. If you're no excuses, you're no excuses. At the end of the day, no excuses is no excuses, right? And the game has changed. 30 years ago, how someone would have played it is different from how it's being played today. At the end of the day, how you played it doesn't mean that's how Sabrina's going to play it. Sabrina is 47, you're 57. I don't know how old the other lady is. Other lady might be 65. I have no idea. And age doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, he seems to be he seems to keep trading in and getting a new model on top of a new model. You know what I'm saying? He seems to be trading all the time, getting himself a new wife or a new love interest. And you can't go based on what you would do, what you think other people would do to justify, well, I encouraged him to stay with his family and you didn't do that. No, I mean, that doesn't even happen now. Like if she's with him and that's who she wants to be with, why would she tell him to go home to you? That's the silly stuff we hear from Sonya. That's that silly, unbelievable stuff. You dating a man who is fat and unattractive, you don't want to be with him. It just sounds like you're making excuses for fooling around and falling in love. And 30 years later, now he's done you wrong. So maybe you should have listened to your first mind and just left him alone to begin with. But no, you married him, you're with him, you've enjoyed this lifestyle, you've enjoyed lots of money and all of the things. And now you're just having to deal with the repercussions later, just like Sabrina is getting dragged for being a side chick. You were being exalted as the wife that got cheated on, but now it turns around that you were in Sabrina's shoes. So it's no difference, sis. Like this is just life repeating itself.
Kids and stuff like that, but she
To me.
never said anything to me about me being the cause. But I did find this out, that after she found out that he and I was breaking up, she told someone that she was like, oh, she finally found out after all these years. Like she finally found out who he really is, because I think I mentioned in the earlier video about him telling me about how she was not having
Yeah, my bad,
any
guys.
kind of intimate relationship with him. And he thought it was because she was depressed and,
I was
had some
talking. It wasn't
postpartum and all of
frozen. It
that.
was me.
Turns out word got back to me. She was like, I wasn't depressed or I didn't have postpartum either. It was because I was tired of being in the doctor's office because he kept giving me stuff.
Mm.
So, I'm gonna just leave it there, guys. And like I said, once all this is over, I'll come back and give you plenty of details. So old girl can keep telling all the stories she want, but they hanging, they doing their thing. I just got a message from a woman this morning who saw them out in Dallas last night at True Lux and said that, old girl got pregnant by her husband some years ago while she lived in California. So she was like, she's all about the money. So, and she is. And I'm telling you, y'all, yeah, I've lived a privileged life, but I've earned everything I've got here in this household. When he was sick, when he was doing all his other stuff, when he had to get shit wiped off of him, she wasn't here. I was wiping shit, cleaning up vomit, and all the things that a wife would do. So for better or worse, yeah, I stuck in between all of that. So, like I said, I'm gonna end this right here. You can say what you want, judge how you want, but it's all good. I'm gonna be good in the end. I was just sharing and hoping that my story would empower someone else to not be embarrassed, to stand up on your own, But it is what it is, and I'm living for today. Hope y'all have a good one.
So
Hey y'all, I'm gonna address
okay,
this.
so it wasn't frozen. It was me. I was talking, but I didn't realize I had y'all on mute. So my bad. This is funny. Someone's saying, is he a Virgo? And there people are debating on the what signs everyone is. TikTok comments are pretty funny, but I'm sorry, nothing beats Instagram comments. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oops, did I? Okay, here we go.
Hey y'all, this is my last video for today. No one likes being called a liar, and particularly me. So I have not lied to you all. I have no reason to deceive you. Like I said, I didn't know the whole situation with he and his former wife, but I'm sure she probably went through the same thing I went through, but she never let me know that, and I only could go by the stories that he was telling me about them having issues and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure they did because, based on her saying why she wouldn't sleep with him. But in all fairness and honesty to me, everybody who knew me back then and knew us during that time, they knew the story. He would tell them how hard I was. He was like, she was the meanest girl I've ever met. Because he was like, for the first 3 months, you couldn't even get a kiss from her. And he tells that story. And I'm sure it's on video from one of my birthday parties. So he knew who I was and how I was from the very beginning. So all this narrative they're trying to paint now, like, It wasn't like that at all. So, and I do have folks who will say that's exactly how it was. She told us she was not attracted to him and not just because he was overweight, it just wasn't attracted to him, period. And he had a great job and all that. I was not attracted to him. And that
You accepted the diamond earrings and that he wanted to date you. Like, look, it's not to split hairs, but she's splitting hairs right now to kind of like justify that people are calling her out. And at the end of the day, she accepted to date him. You accepted his gift. We didn't hear anything about you giving it back. I still am here for the story and everything, but Gail, you'll do a lot better just kind of admitting that you messed up and that probably wasn't the best thing to do. And no matter how tough you were, you still hang in there. And 30 years later, look where you at.
that didn't phase me because I was like, I just was not. And as I got to know him, I was like, okay, he a nice guy. So I didn't use his
She
size
might
or the
have
way he
liked being
looked or anything like that
pursued.
against him. So I just felt he was a really sweet guy. But y'all also ought to know that old girl is lying. And this ain't really about her, that she's lying, because can't nobody just walk up in the Delta Sky Club. Can't nobody just walk up on a plane. So that's just some, bullshit she putting out there. And she also told you all about the Europe thing. Remember, I was telling y'all the story about when the day I found out everything, that he was coming from a business trip. It actually wasn't a business trip. It was him coming back from her birthday trip from Europe. I think they went to Paris, to Amsterdam, Tuscany, and somewhere else. But he told me that he was on a business trip. And I have all the text messages to prove it. And I wish I knew how to upload some of this shit on here as the pictures, because I got proof. And I got proof too that she knew that he was married and how she encouraged him to leave. But I might need them for court, y'all. But anything that I think I don't need for court, I'll post it because I don't have any reason to lie. So I'm just letting y'all know. So if I owe anybody an apology, it might be his former wife, but I would owe it. Oh, I don't mind, giving her an apology, but that was based on the lies that he told me. And not saying that he has not told this girl the same lies, but I'm going to be accountable for my stuff. She not trying to be accountable for any of hers, but I'm just going to keep it
But
one.
I wouldn't even worry about her. I wouldn't even worry about her. Let her figure her karma out. You are getting an opportunity to deal with yours.
100 with you, y'all. So, like I said, this is the last one, but I want to be clear with y'all. If y'all got any questions for me, hit me up in my mailbox, and if I can hit you back, I will. Y'all have a good day. Thanks. Bye. Hey, y'all. This is
Look at Harold looking just stunted. Okay. That's the Europe trip, right?
Hey, y'all. This is my last video.
Okay, so we saw that one. This is them on the plane. Okay. This is her.
How are you? Good to see you. Hope you have a good flight. I'll see you on the flight.
She is laughing at you, sis.
Good morning, Harold. How are you? Good to see you. Hope you have a good flight. I'll see you on the
He's
flight.
looking like, oh my God.
Good morning, Harold. How are you? Good to see you. Hope you have a good flight. I'll see
Stay focused. Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't just dream about what you're going to do. Don't criticize somebody else for what they're not doing. You be it. Be about it. Be about that action and go do it. Keep your eye on your intention. Don't let any outside distraction or your own insecurity stop you from your goals. Embrace that struggle. Surviving
So I don't, okay. It's like, what's going on here? So it's a slideshow. It seems like
that
it's the
struggle
same
will strengthen you. This
text.
stay focused.
This is the same
Talk about
text.
what you're going to do. Don't just dream about what you're going to do.
This is the same text. So it's like on a slide, but it's the same thing. The flight got canceled. I would be in Amsterdam to Atlanta, 3:40. Can't wait to see you. Okay, love bug. One more sleep until I see my baby. That's right. Night night. So basically she's trying to she's basically saying everything was okay. Up until, so this was like October 2022. Okay. I love me some you. These are all the same. I love me some you. Love it. I'm just gonna freeze it so you guys can read this on your own. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll through these. That's the same one.
Yo, you want to see something cool?
Okay, and then she just updated her. So basically, that's the Gail Lewis story for right now, guys. She's on Gail Lewis. It's Gail Lewis 404. She picked Psalm 91:4. Let's see what that is. Psalm begins with a P. I'm just kidding. Psalm, which I'm really not. 91:4. He will cover you with his pinions, and under his wing you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and bunker. He will cover you with feathers. He will shelter you with his wings. His faithful promises are armor and protection. Okay, Miss Ma'am. Okay. All right, look, Gail, I'm just saying, think we never know when that time is going to come that we're going to have to reconcile, or things will be reconciled, um or just to learn the lessons. You know what I mean? Like, the kids are grown, the house is empty, you look good, you look very good. Harold might just need to go and be someone else's problem. I would not be mad. You know what I mean? Don't be mad, girl, be glad. It's over and you don't have to worry about it. Miss Sabrina has a job on her hands. Sir is sickly, and let her have him. Let her have him and go on and handle your business. But trying to do a fadeaway, um I don't know if that's going to work well. But anyway, that was interesting. I kind of enjoyed that. Guys, we'll come back and we'll get caught up on Shronesto a little bit later. I know that there were some other hot topics you guys wanted me to cover. If you guys want me to continue with Gail, let me know. I did pull some more of the tidbits and details. I don't think this is going to be the last we're hearing of this, because this has become a social media thing now. So it's okay. We'll keep this on Hot Topics. You guys asked. We did talk about Wendy Williams the other day. Gail, we do need to get caught up on Fani. Fani did admit to having a situation with Sir. I did get that document. I have that. I'm reading through it. Nathan did a deposition as well. We can talk about that either later or tomorrow. So there's lots to talk about. But you guys have a wonderful Sunday. It's right at 12:30. Have a wonderful day. You guys get the conversation going down below, and we will talk about all of this a little bit later. Um, and we'll get caught up. I think Phone Calls is putting out a call this evening, so maybe we'll talk about it tonight, okay? And get caught up on everything. The side chickery of it all, right? The side chick shenanigans and all of the things is not a fun place to be when getting called out. Um, but yeah, let's see what you guys are saying, and I'm gonna let y'all go. Okay. Gail, good riddance. Okay. Fani claims they got together after she appointed him. Y'all need to look at the paperwork she turned into courtroom. It's a mess. Who? Specific who? Y'all need to look at the paperwork she turned into the courtroom. She's a mess. Are you talking about Fani? Are you talking about Gail? Are you talking about which one? We did some of Gail's by way of Chronicle Speaks. I have to get those documents. I went on Trellis and it's not posted. The docket items are posted in Trellis, but okay. So the docket items are posted in Trellis, but the documents are not uploaded. So I have to request those. So but yeah, we did see some of them by way of Chronicle Speaks. So yes, we did see some of that, and it's a lot. I do have some of her husband's deposition, and all of that, but yeah, we're not going to go through that today, but we will. We will. Okay. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful day. I will see you guys next time. This was some more girl side chick shenanigans. Anyway, guys, you guys take care. Have a wonderful day. If you're on the replay, don't forget to hit the like button for me. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're new here, and I will see you guys next time I go live, post another video, and come back to see you guys. Okay. Same script, different cast. Isn't it all? Aren't we all? Okay, guys, take care. See you later.